Hey everyone, it's your logical libertarian here. We're going to be talking about, if you can't tell, atheism, as well as agnosticism and anti-theism. Essentially, what everything means, how they all work, can you be all three or any combination of those? Just going through a few things of that. This live stream will be open, so anyone who is watching can comment in the comments below, as well as I'm going to be taking some time to link to a few of my outside sources. So bear with me one moment. It's easier to do when the live stream's actually going. So we're going to go over here. In fact, you get to learn how to link your own lime stream. Link your own lime stream. So let's see. Right now, should have a live stream up. See if we can link it at the moment. Alright. Should say that I'm live. Yeah. Alright. Well, what I'll be doing is linking this, so bear with me for one moment while I pull everything up and find the way to pull up the link to my live stream. Look at my channel. So what I'm doing right now is searching myself, having to search myself through another subsidiary channel, a different channel. Is the way to do it, so nope. Sending it there. So what I have done is I've emailed myself. Then what we do is we get on, go to our email. You can also do this through Facebook or anything else, however you want to do it through your social media. Switch over to your Gmail. See that? You see that? So you copy link address, you go down, and then you go to whatever you want to. Voila, you've done that, and then I'm going to be sharing it to another place in a moment, but there is that and there. So just give me one moment, I'll go down for 1 second, and we'll start right back up. Hey guys, it should be continued back up. We'll see if it did. Awesome, it still counts as continued. It's great. I'm glad. So welcome to anybody who has come in. Like I said, you're welcome to leave a comment. I'll be checking periodically, but I'll be discussing these topics. The topics being atheism, agnosticism, and anti-theism, what they are. So look at some definitions, my own take on it, give some examples, and discuss what they mean, as well as you can learn about me. So here we go. So a lot of people hear the term atheism, and many misconceptions are that atheism is not just a rejection of different religious beliefs or religion in general, but they also take it a bit further and state that it is a assertion that no religions are correct, that there are no deities, whatever. It's not some it's more of being irreligious or non-religious is really what atheism means. but it's been, it's been contextualized to mean quite a few different things, as well as there are plenty of people who are atheists, who claim to be atheists, they are, who are people who would assert that there are no deities, there are no gods, there are no, religion is all wrong, stuff like that. So it's not that there aren't atheists that do that, but atheism in itself is the lack of belief. It is the rejection of the ideas of gods, deities, demigods, demons, spirits, ghosts, anything supernatural. And that's really what kind of hardline atheists are, and I would be that. I am a hardline atheist. I don't believe in anything supernatural. I think everything is scientific, and everything can be explained through investigation and experimentation, observation, and then understanding, reviewing the data and evidence you collected. You formulate hypothesis, you test it, and you see. Or you formulate a question, and you formulate hypothetical possibilities, and you test and see what actually happens. And then from there, multiple tests and multiple other things. That's where you compile theories, scientific theories about what the world, how the world is. Of course, atheism, though, due to the stigma, the more negative stigma of being not just non-religious, but anti-religious, being against the idea of religion, being not only like asserting that there is no God or no gods, no spirits, whatever, what have you, and as well as, especially during the mid and later 20th century with communism, atheism's had a very bad name attributed to it. Similar to how Catholicism has gotten a bad name due to the child trafficking ring and some of the other things that's happened in the name of Catholicism, like the Inquisition. Atheism has had that too. Now, granted, communism wasn't in the name of atheism, but atheism, at least at the state level, was a tenet of communism, at least in practice. But a lot of people then, due to that stigma, go with agnosticism. They say they're agnostic. And they're not wrong. Agnosticism is a claim that you don't know. You are not aware. You can't claim you know if any gods exist, if any supernatural things exist. You claim that, well, I can't know. I can't test the supernatural. It's not natural, thus I can't test it. So how can I know? And that's true. That's what I am as well. Not only am I an atheist, I'm an agnostic atheist. The two are not mutually exclusive. You can state that you do not know, and you can also state that you do not believe. In fact, for me, it is, I don't know, therefore I don't believe. It is, I can't verify this, so I can't say that it's true. A lot of people, though, go with agnosticism, essentially giving it the definition of atheism, which is that they don't believe, or that they have a lack of belief, but they use it in a way to be soft, to kind of soften the blow of what it is. I know many people who do this, many people too who are religious maybe, and talk to someone who is an atheist, and they say, oh yeah, I'm an atheist, and they're like, oh, well, so do you say you know that there is no God? Or they would say, well, I can't know for certain, no. And then they would say, well, then you're an agnostic. Well, no, they're not just an agnostic, they're an atheist and agnostic. They admit that they have no true knowledge on the topic. You cannot know if there is something beyond our natural world, or beyond our current limitation of natural observation. You can't know. So because we can't know, you cannot say for certain about at least the concept of a God or spirits or whatever. There are certain things you can say you don't know for certain, but you can definitely say you don't believe. And this is made quite a bit of debate, and a lot of people get upset. In fact, between atheists themselves, they get upset because you almost have agnosticism being the politically correct term for atheism. And that upsets people because it kind of it further pushes the stigma of it towards atheism. And that's how I felt too when I was younger. When I ran for office, I don't want to say I was an atheist. I said I was a non-theist because I wanted to avoid the term, because I knew that claiming to be an atheist for running for political office is political suicide, especially where I'm from. People will say that they will make a complete character judgment on you just because of your religious belief, or rather lack thereof. And if you say you're agnostic, well, you're agnostic, that's okay. You're being honest about it, pretty much. That's the way it's taken. But that's how, we've done things. It's how people have used the term, and from misinformation to trying to soften the blow. That's how it is. And we just gotta talk about it to change it. Let's check to see if anyone has made any comments. Nope, no one gives a shit about us, so we'll keep going. So we've covered agnosticism, which is about the expression of whether you know or not, or believe you know. And Gnosticism is the belief that you do know. Atheism is the concept of, do you believe? So, take for instance too, and this is a way to, a good analogy for this, is say that there is a murder trial. There's no evidence for the person to be, you are a juror on a murder trial, and so far no evidence has been presented by the Attorney General and the rest of the prosecution towards the defendant. So you would be asked at that point, it would still be too early because they haven't really committed the trial, but at the beginning of the trial you'd be asked, do you know and do you believe? Agnosticism is stating, I do not know if this person committed it. I don't know. Don't have any evidence. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't observe it. There's no reason for me to believe, to say I know. And the belief part is, well, then do you believe? And the answer would be the same. I don't believe so at the moment. There's no evidence. A good juror would say this. No evidence has been presented for me to state that I believe it. That I believe that this person at least could have done it. There's been no demonstration that they could have. And if you were to apply that, and a lot of people do this actually as a metaphor for religion, when it comes to putting on trial, they say, putting God on trial and that, and a lot of times religious people get upset with that because they feel that it's demeaning. But it's actually a good philosophical and good logical practice when it comes to seeing if something might be true or not. And this is how we also can explain atheism and agnosticism. You claim that you don't know, and you claim that you don't believe, and you don't believe often for the same reasons. So as I say, this is hammering in the idea that they're not mutually exclusive. You can be agnostic and atheist, and one is not better or worse than the other. I know a lot of people who do that, who say that, no, I'm agnostic, I'm not an atheist, and the reason is due to the stigma or a misunderstanding of what atheism is, or what agnosticism is. And it's not like you can't be an atheist and friends with religious people. That's idiotic, especially in the Western world, because there's a lot more to human interaction than what you believe when it comes to the supernatural sense. But of course, this brings us to our next and final, I guess, definition for the time before we carry on. Before, let's check. Anyone commented? Nope, but someone else joined to start watching. So we're going to go to anti-theism. Now, anti-theism is kind of a two-parter, because an anti-theist is essentially an atheist, but further. an atheist would say, I don't believe. An anti-theist would say, I believe it isn't. I believe it don't, I guess you could say. An atheist would say, I don't believe that there is a God. And an anti-theist would say, I believe there is no God. I believe there is no spirituality. I believe there is no supernatural. That's what an anti-theist would say. As well as another form of anti-theism, another definition, includes being against religion itself. And there are various degrees with that. Some are almost similar to, like, I guess, Stalinist or Maoist ideas of completely eradicating religion. Some are just against large corporation-style organized religion. Some are just against organized religion or religion being pushed in the public sector. Some are just against the cult nature of organized religion. There's a lot of nuance to it, of course. And I think you'll understand why I'm bringing up this nuance to it. But essentially, an anti-theist is someone who is against deism and or theism. They are against the idea of a belief in the supernatural, of a belief in a god or gods. They believe that those things not only do they not believe they exist, but they believe it doesn't exist, which is different from an atheist who just believes that it doesn't exist. As well as they oftentimes are against religion itself. Some go as far as to state that they believe religion should be gone. That they would make the statement that without religion there would be no war, there would be no poverty, there would be all of these not things happening, which, to be honest, I think that's wrong. And I've heard religious people say that too. People who are actually very religious, who think that without religion there would be, the world would be so much better, but I disagree. I think it's ideology, but I guess that's a topic for another day, and I have a video that I'd want to use to delve as a kind of a springboard into that. But I guess a good example of people, and you can see that on this page, of anti-theists are Christopher Hitchens, who is in the top right. Pretty much the right half are both anti-theists. Christopher Hitchens, on the bottom is Devon Tracey. And they are both anti-theists. They're people who they challenge religion, and they want to see religion's power lessen and lessen and lessen. Both focused on mostly the Abrahamic religions because those are the most prevalent, especially Islam and Christianity. Now, of course, the question comes into, can an anti-theist, can they coexist with theists? And to that I would say, yes. I would state that anti-theists can coexist with theists as long as they leave each other alone, essentially, when it comes to that, and as long as they understand that they cannot push their views on each other, and cannot, whether it be private or individually, or using the government as an engine to do so. Now, why do I bring up anti-theism as well? One, because obviously there's a lot of confusion between anti-theism and theism in general. Let's check the chat again. No one cares. But also because I don't just identify as an agnostic atheist. I am an agnostic atheist anti-theist. Not only do I claim to not know for certain. Not only do I claim I don't believe, but there are some religions, some ideas that I claim don't exist. I would downright say in the positive, I would affirm that they don't exist. I would assert. Now, granted, there are ways I could show some sort of evidence for, based on the scientific scientific contradiction with these fables or stories or claims, failed predictions. Those are the main ones. Internal contradictions. not only that, but historical contradictions. There's a lot that comes with it. Mostly it's the contradictions, logical contradictions as well. Those are the main things. It's showing that the claim is credulous, that it is incredible, and it is not substantiated, and it doesn't work. Like it's impossible to substantiate. It's paradoxical, essentially, based on the nature of it, and thus it can't exist, essentially. Not that paradoxes can't exist. You can create paradoxical illusions, I guess, technically. But paradoxes, when it comes to those, can't really, as far as we know, can't exist. And that I guess would be my limitation when it comes to me being an anti-theist. I'm an anti-theist as far as I know. Because and a lot of religious people are anti-theists and atheists as well, technically. This is the statement, and while I think it's not I don't think it's a good argument. Some people make it so, but when you tell a theist, or someone who believes in just one God, that they are an atheist for everything but one religion, and that an atheist just takes it one step further. But not only that, they are an anti-theist for every religion except the one that they have, and that the anti-theist takes it just one step further. And the reason why I say this is both a Christian or Muslim and myself would say, no, Thor doesn't exist. Odin doesn't exist. Apollo doesn't exist. Zeus doesn't exist. Hercules doesn't exist. Anubis doesn't exist. The Wiccan deities don't exist. We all would agree on that. We will all agree on that they don't exist. Not that not just that we don't believe they exist, but that we believe they don't. And I take it one step further towards the Abrahamic deity as well. All of them. And I do have a distaste for religion to a certain point. I'm not one who thinks religion should be eradicated. No. Religion essentially is a mix of political ideology and cultural ideology put together. Religion has goods and bads, which that's every single part of human nature. To me, religion is another sign of advanced human condition. So I don't believe in taking it away and going out to kill it. I think that is ridiculous, barbaric, totalitarian, and demonstrably egregious to people, and just immoral. But I'm against religion as government. I'm against religion as using government as an engine to push religious ideology, religious law. And to those of you who say, oh, so you're against murder being wrong? No, murder's been wrong in every single society, and so is theft. Any example of assault or theft, which every single crime falls into one of those two categories, like actual legitimate crime, where you harm someone, where you actually infringe on someone else's rights. They form as a form of either assault or theft. And I'll make a video about that too sometime. But that's that. Like, it's not based on religion. It is natural human instinct to not assault others and to not take from others, because one, there are consequences where the rest of the pack or colony or tribe or village might find out and will hurt me, which is, we did mob killings, hangings and lynchings, public executions, trials, tribunals. All these things are examples of that. You find that everywhere. But not only that, but I'm also against the mega power of religious institutions. And I don't just mean, I'm not talking about your local church or synagogue or mosque or, temple, whatever, that people go to actually genuinely practice their faith. No, that's I support that. I'd protect that. I would go with my gun to defend it. And their right to do that when they want to. What I'm against is the mega churches and mega religions, Christianity and Islam are looking at you, that have so much power they influence law, and they abuse the economic system. I'm against that. Essentially, I'm against religious corporations, because that's what they become. The Catholic Church is a religious corporation. The Nation of Islam is a religious corporation. I'm against those. A lot of conspiracy theorists would say that Judaism is a religious corporation, but I don't think so. But of course, that also doesn't reflect on the entirety of the subsects of those religion, or those religions in general. And that's something too I think a lot of people fail to see, a lot of people who are newly atheists fail to see, is that there's a difference, the nuance of that. A radical Christian or a radical Muslim who is insane, maybe not even insane, just they are so devout to the ideas in their religion that they forget the humanity and the instinctual morality, I guess you could say, that we have, and they harm others or advocate for harm, whether it be physical or political, of others. I'd say that's where they've gone too far. Except like Christopher Hitchens, in one of the guys, the other two, the ones on the left, top is Sam Harris, bottom is George Carlin. You have a scholar, a thinker, a comedian, and a YouTuber. Those are the four. Those are my four horsemen. But Christopher Hitchens made a good point, where if you want a good person to do bad things, that takes religion. And I would also go a step further and say that mostly takes ideology, which is where I get down to. I'm against the ideological part of it, the sweeping of tribalistic ideology. And you see this too with politics, with, being Republican, Democrat, if you're from America, or conservative, liberal, anywhere, feminism, libertarianism even has it. You see this all the time. And I'm against that. Again, that's something for another day. But that's what I'm against when it comes to religion. But unfortunately, religion has become so powerful, it transcends international borders, and thus it effectually creates these ideological armies. Not that they're actually mobilized and militarized, but vast numbers of people who will join with each other and back each other, even though they don't necessarily believe the same thing. Because I would argue that not one person in no two people in any church completely agree on anything, or on everything, I mean. But because they all share the label, and because of its massive reach and essentially corporate power, you have this monster that can do good and is typically benign, typically neutral, and doesn't do anything, and is just another part of regular life, but also can be used for extreme bad. And it's the extreme bad that I stand against. And unfortunately, that means you may have to lessen some of the good. But again, like I said, I'm not against all of it in general. Let's check the live stream. Nope, I guess I scared off my one watcher. But those are my thoughts on it. Like I said, I identify with all three of these. This last one, not as much as some people are. I know some people are very hardcore and very cruel to religious people, and I think that's wrong. People have the right to believe what they want, and the majority of people who believe what they want are harmless. They don't do anything, they won't do anything, and for various reasons, which we can also talk about too. I'll be talking about things like that, like different ways of enforcing morality within the mind, whether it's the concept of empathy, or the fear of consequence, or the hope for reward, things like that. And the latter two are typically more what you see in religion: fear of punishment and hope for reward. Very powerful, very, very, very persuasive. But that's what you get, and so I guess I'd be a pretty soft anti-theist, almost to the point where probably most harder anti-theists would reject me as even being an anti-theist, which is fine. That's fine. That's what they want to do. But agnostic atheist is what I am, and I happily coexist with religious people. Many very good friends of mine are religious, and not that I don't care about them being religious, that I'm just like, oh fuck, who cares, I do take an interest in it, and definitely open to the discussion, but to me it's not something I think about. For them, it's not something I care about, because like race and everything else, it's pretty superficial. So, and everyone interprets it differently. I know people. One of my friends is very politically left wing, and he identifies as pansexual, and is super liberal, but he's a Christian. I have another friend who's an atheist, who's a conservative. You would think it'd be different, but it doesn't define you as much as we think. So, and that's the important thing. I think a lot of atheists, and this is just more of a lesson for atheists that are coming up, who don't understand, who are maybe have just kind of rejected religion and are thinking and wanting to know. First off, these 4 people are great people to look to. Matt Dillahunty's a good one as well. Dawkins, obviously. I try to steer away from Bill Nye because he gets a little more political. Try to stay away from the political, unless it's political criticism that's kind of all around. I would definitely try and look for more of the issues with religion itself. There are plenty of other atheist YouTubers out there you could watch. And there are some religious YouTubers out there you could watch that would be helpful to see. It's good to hear, too, if you want to challenge your ideas and you want to learn about religion, whether it's, like I say, if you want to learn about the bad ideas of religion, go to religion and learn about it. You want to know why people don't like the Bible, the Quran, whatever, any religious text, read the religious text. If you want to know why religious apologetics are bad, listen to people who are apologists talk, and you'll learn why. Go to the source itself, and take a seat, and just listen, just read, and apply skepticism, apply rationale to it, and you'll see why. You'll see the issues, and if they're open, if the source is open to a discussion, then ask questions, get clarification, and see maybe if they'll understand, and if not, oh well. Be prepared. If you're gonna poke the stick of criticism, poke the stick of inquiry, you're going to get the backlash. That's how it is. But do that, and do the same towards atheists too who talk, because that's how you learn these things, and you learn too that it's not good to be hostile to people. That gets us nowhere. We need to be accepting and tolerant of each other. We need to be open-minded, because people with different perspectives, that's very valuable. Think of it this way: if we had a quote-unquote atheist utopia where the majority were atheists, and they were to make laws, and they didn't understand that these laws were potentially harmful to religion, were potentially infringing upon a private individual's right to be religious, to hold their religious ideas in their home or in a place that they and others have designated for worship. Having that is valuable, and you don't want to infringe upon their rights, because it's their right. They as a human have a right to believe as they want and to do what they want, because they're not harming anyone. And it's valuable to have that, and it's valuable to learn, because again too, people, and this is something a lot of people just get wrong, people are humans. Someone you're debating with is a human. They're a human. They are a person with feelings and lives and dreams and hopes and fears. They have family, whether it be kids of their own or parents and other people, friends, hobbies, interests, things that they don't know, things that they do know, things that they're wrong about, things that they're right about. Like, you have to realize that. And more than likely, if they're an adult, they're an adult. Talk to them like one. That's some of the best advice I can give to you too. If you're a new atheist who's questioning things still and learning. That's what you do. Expose yourself as much as you can and learn. Who knows, you may be an atheist now, and in 3 weeks you could be Muslim or Hindu or Buddhist or whatever. Christian, who knows? It could be that you didn't have a religion that made sense to you, you find one and it makes sense to you. The evidence seems to fit. I don't know. Happens to people. But this is what they are. Don't ever be afraid to engage with people, if you are religious, who claim any of these. And if they are hostile to you, they just leave. They're not worth talking. They're not worth taking the time to talk to if they're hostile. But don't ever be afraid or intimidated or nervous about people who claim to be atheists or agnostics or anti-theists. They don't hate you. They don't hate your gods or your religion. They may have a distaste for it, they may not like it, but they don't hate you. Most of them realize that you're a human just as you realize that we are. Have a discussion. Get some coffee or lunch or something and talk about it. Inquire as to why they're not religious, why they're an atheist or an anti-theist. What would change their mind? You'll learn a lot about them. And allow them to ask you questions and give honest answers. And neither should ever be afraid to say, I don't know. Because no matter what you think, we are all agnostics. Thank you guys for joining. It's always fun to do this. I hope to get back to doing this soon, more often. I have a video that's coming up. I was going to do it last week, but I kind of got busy. It's a response to a Ben Shapiro video about how to debate leftists or whatever, liberals. I pretty much counter everything he says with actual good advice. I'm trying to make it a little better than this, but I might just... I'm trying to change it up, but I might just upload it straight. Just cut out a few things, just kind of cut off some of the rough edges and just put the video itself, which I feel is a little tacky because it's going to be pretty much me pausing and clicking and not really changing over to my avatar, but I don't know. We'll see. I kind of want to get it out and not let it sit. I'm tired of letting things sit. So, thank you guys for watching. You guys have a good night. Bye.